Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. What I do, what I do for you. I'm surrounded by books, so I'm gonna jump into a different one today. So bear with me. Another lesson. This is what we're doing today. Okay? Anuian African religion, Anuian theology. Okay? This is what it breaks down a few things intricately. So I'm gonna bring you back to something I started a long time ago. For those new ones, this is something gonna be new for you. Oh, somebody said, "Oh, I remember that." Okay, cool. Here we go. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune to receive them. I hope it's working out for you. We seem to have a good thing going. Let's ride. Know thyself. I ain't the one. I ain't the one. We got this. Slow down. Back up. Okay. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through a mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of knowing thyself, aka spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that you do that. So I got to do all I could. I'm putting out all the stops. Okay, I'm gonna give you everything I got. So your goal is to know thyself with the lessons I'm giving you, and you implement them. You do just that. Okay. The question: do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Let's go. Know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons is out of you. Right thinkers. Know thyself. And to my out. Be true. Win the book. See that eye right there? I'm going to talk about that first, and then I'm going to introduce you into first Nehast, and then I'm going to ask the questions: what is creation? Who created creation? And what is the purpose of creation? And if I did not think that's enough, that might be a little bit nuts, but good lesson here. Let's go. Take it to the book. All right, here you go. The Great Awakening of the Netherrean religion is the same as the Great Awakening or knowing thyself from the right thinker philosophy concept. It's the same concept. I just dressed mine up with my personal experience and my knowledge of other things. So got to put the thing going. That's what I call it spiritual gumbo. But today, let's talk about introduction to Nehas, into what is creation, who created creation, and what's the purpose of creation. And I might throw in the deities and myths of the creation. So a lot of things about creation, and the whole part about the creation story or the myth, we tell you it's a myth. It's a concept, but it's to teach you a lesson. That's what you should be learning. Well, did it really happen? That's irrelevant. Get the message. Okay. That's like worrying about who the messenger is. Damn that. Did you get the message? So here we go. The Great Awakening we call Nihas, right thinkers. Our goal is to reach that state of Nihas. Well, what? Again, they don't have. You can't Google Nihas and Siri can tell you. Don't know. It's our word. They don't have a definition for it. Okay, we got a few of them too, but we're gonna start with Nihas, my favorite. And Nihas to us, right? Think of philosophy, Shita, Netatawi, Semi-Tawi followers, Netarians, it means to wake up. I'm woke. I wake up every day. See? Wake up to what? The awakening to your higher existence. I'm listening. Tell me about that one. Smarty. In the Per Im Haru, aka book coming forth by day, they know it's Book of the Dead, it states this: I am the same God the Supreme One who has myriad of mysterious names. Every religious group of people, every culture since the beginning have called God by another name according to them, which is fine. It still signifies the same person. That's the key right there. God don't change. The people change in what they call him, but the things that he represents haven't changed since he came into existence. What we have down here. Now the goal, listen, right thinkers, the goal of all right thinkers is to what? Discover the meaning of who I am for yourself. Who I am is not who you are, but the spirit that's in us is the same. But the concept that he gives us is uniquely our own. Come on, please understand that. I keep using the caterpillar butterfly concept. Why? Because while we're in the physical form, we're ignorant of who we are. We're caterpillars. Once you reach the enlightened state with knowledge and understanding of self and implement it and living it, you become a unique butterfly in your own rights. The spiritual awakening is the same thing. Hope you get that concept. I like to use that analogy because it's real simple. All right, here you go. It ain't that complicated. When you want to know, you want to discover the meaning of who I am. To what? Unravel the mysteries. That means to live it for yourself of life and what? And to phantom the depths of eternity and infinity. You have to live a righteous life. You have to understand that there is what they call an afterlife. And the things that you do in this life will take you to the afterlife or back to this life. Reincarnation. Okay, get the concept and watch this. This is the task of who? Of all human beings. I ain't saying all right thinkers. I'm saying all human beings. We all have the right to do this for themselves. Watch this. And it is to what? Be done when? And accomplished in this very lifetime. If you don't get it done, it goes on to the next person. Next up. Next man up, next woman up. Why? Because the spirit don't care. It just wants to go home. Whoever take it, it don't really care. Like that hooker, she don't care who she sell that thing to. Just understand. That's how the spirit rolls. This can be done. How? Here we go. This is the part that I want my right thinkers to understand. This can be done by learning the right thinking philosophy ways of the what? The Neteru, which is your aspects of yourself, what you call them God and goddesses, but they really your characters, aspects of your character, which you can learn and master, as you say. And what? You emulate them, and finally, what happened? You will be becoming like them. And what are they? They are Akhus. Akhus. It means enlightened beings. We call it right thinkers. See, you can call something whatever you want, but if it's that, that's what it is. So, getting to be enlightened, you can call yourself whoever you want. Everybody take a name to symbolize who they are. Mine is P-Funk. I'm not taking an Egyptian god or goddess name. Why? I got one already. Understand that I'm emulating them in concepts, not in name. And make a difference what my name is. But watch this. You become an enlightened being doing what? Walking the earth as what? As giants. Not New York giants, no, they suck. But walking the earth as giant among what? The small, ignorant ones. I tell you about Gulliver. Once he realized he's a giant, he taking over. Okay? Conceptually. And what? Walking as a giant and accomplishing, listen, great what? Deeds. Hall of Fame, no, deeds. Doing something such as the creation or the understanding of thyself. The I, right there, called the Ujat. It's spelled Udjat. When they saw the I Haru, they knew just what that meant. And this is what it means. The Eye of Haru is what? Is the quintessential symbol of awakening to what? Divine consciousness, aka Christians, Christ consciousness. Same thing. Same thing. Different name, but same thing. Knowing God. And what happens? You're representing the concept of Nehast and knowing thyself. You are an awakened, enlightened being living here amongst the, as they say, 85% ignorant people. That's the first lesson. I'm introducing you to what I represent and what I think and feel about this concept, which is Nehast is the highest spiritual level you can have as a human being. Our word, not theirs. Okay, now let's talk about the creation. Now, these questions, the introduction to creation, and it says, what is creation? Who created creation? And what is the purpose of creation? All good questions. And if you have the answer, that means you know some things. If you don't have the answer, you should be learning some things. Simple as that. Let's go. These questions have been asked time and time again over the course of history, which is understandable. Is there any answers? Is the question. Who had it? The ancient Egyptian sages. They thought so, and they what? They recorded their discoveries in the form of a what? Mythical philosophy called Shita Netta, and they called the god and goddesses Pautet. Okay, this book focuses in on the ancient Egyptian philosophy of the Pautet and how it what contains important mystical teachings about what the nature of creation, God, and human existence. So it's going to break down creation, nature, God, and human creation. Watch this. There are several creation stories again in ancient Egypt. There are three major myths, and they related to the ancient Egyptian trinity of, I tell you, Amen, hidden one, Ra, seen, Ptah, self-created. That's the concept that you can break down in three different categories. I just give lessons of consciousness, but that's where it comes from. But this is the breakdown early of it, so I'm trying to get them all tied together so you can understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay. Now, where we at down here? Is this right? Okay, we did that. Okay. With the Trinity of Amun, Ra, Ptah, in which what? Creation emanates from the Nabercha or the absolute supreme self. Whatever name you call God, remember there's a myriad. So they all saying the same thing, or same thing about the same person, just different name. And watch this. Then you got the supreme self in the form. Now the supreme self is in the form of the Trinity. There are also myths related to what creation as having emanated from each individual member of that Trinity. Amun, they did that in Waset. Ra, they did that in Anu. Then you got Ptah, they did that in Thebes. So they also had a God that represents them in every different place. That's what they're saying. And all come back to the same God. All right. He split himself into three. They still recognize him. Watch this. So therefore, also there are also myths related to what? The god Khepri. Now he's the scarab head god. Why? Because when the scarabs come out their dung, they lay the eggs in the dung. Okay? When they come out full grown, they just scatter. They just come out of nowhere. Hence self-created. Okay? And Asar, which is the first spirit after the five elements that got into human beings. That's when existence starts with Asar. And again, the Greeks call him Osiris. Why? If his name was Asar, why you gotta call him Osiris? Confusion, the drug confusion, mostly, mainly, and his work. And watch this, how he created the world, how? By uttering their own name. Again, the heck of words of power. What you say carry power. That's why when you name stuff, that's what they become. So they know that. So when they say Asar, no, I say Osiris. Already controlling you by calling you what he want to call you. When somebody call you out of your name, and most doctors, if you say their name, don't call them doctor, they'll correct you. Oh, this doctor so and so. Okay, so they big on that name thing. And watch this. When you can create yourself, that's the whole part about the thought, feeling in the heart, the thought in the mind. Now the mouth creates the actual fact. Again, that's the Trinity. And watch this. The goddess has always been recognized again as the source of creation as well. We call nature mother because she gives, she gives, she gives. These myths may appear to what be contradictory, but this understanding occurs when The deeper aspects of the ancient Egyptian mysticisms are what not well understood. Again, the Romans came in and took our concepts and misunderstood them and mispresent them and misrepresent them. To this day, they still want to admit they got it wrong. Moving on. Teaching, I ain't preaching. Yoga is the study of what? The practice of wisdom and spiritual disciplines. That's what right thinking philosophy is based around also. The yoga philosophy. I'm a yogi. 10 years in now. So everything I'm doing is on par. And for all my Christian and all my religious followers, let me ask you this one question. Why don't they advocate meditation? I'll wait. Let me know in the comments if you choose, but let me tell you why. Now, yoga is a study of practice of what? Wisdom, meaning you're going to have experience. Wisdom experience. Spiritual disciplines. You're going to experience your spiritual discipline. Why? When you use it, you'll see why, and that's the whole point, which will what? Will allow a human being to do what? Discover what? The source of all existence, which is God. Through wisdom, meaning experience. You got to have experience. Your belief don't mean jack. Your belief ain't wisdom. Wisdom ain't found in somebody's belief system. It's found in experience of what they may believe or what they may have faith in. But you have to have the experience. That's the proof. And what it does, it gives all human beings to be able to discover the source of all existence. That's the spirit that's in us. And watch this, to what? Attain the highest level of self-discovery, Nehast, which leads to what? Inner peace. Don't want to tell the story. I got a perfect story for that. I want to do something to a particular person. I'm going to do something to this particular person. I'm hell bent on doing something to this particular person. That's the ego self. That part of me, watch this. Now, if I was not happy in my lifestyle, if I was unhappy in relationship, if I was down and out on situations, my anger would be to it. I'm gonna get this frustration off on him. When I had the opportunity and it came to me, ordained by him, and wasn't orchestrated by me or him, I had to let him know that, my man, the only way this is happening is through his grace. Why? Because any other way it wouldn't work. If I wasn't at peace with myself, if I was at the level of higher spiritual knowledge, I would have made a grave error, and everything I stand for, represent, would have been pissed away. Real talk. Okay. Personal, but yeah, life lesson. It's truth. Where we at? Yeah. And watch this. When a person has the highest level of self-discovery, which leads to what? Inner peace. We call that hotep. I use the word hotep. That's inner peace and contentment. And what it is, it's obstructed joy, pure joy, bliss. I call it. I got people who are spiritually, religiously inclined are blissed out. Why? When you reach the level of security within yourself, knowing thyself, you and God become one. You become blissed out. Why? For no other reason. You just happy knowing you know what you know. Ignorant people can't be happy. They got false happiness. They make themselves happy with things and stuff, drugs, whatever. That's not happiness. I'm content with knowing that me and God are on the same page. Sorry about that. Yeah, it gets a little tight for me. All right, let me wrap this up. Yeah, I thought I had more time. I got to do this thing. All right. Yoga, I did the yoga practice concept. Where we at down here? Okay, now, yoga, right there in philosophy, is the practice of mental thinking, studying, physical, going to the gym, put my work in every day, and spiritual discipline. Live for my higher self. Mind, body, and soul. My spirit is covered because I let God lead me. And you do this, what? When doing this, which leads to what? Self-control, self-discovery, and also purifying the mind, body, and spirit, aka lightening the heart. Why? Because at Judgment Day, that's what you want to have, a light heart. So as to what? Discover your deeper spiritual essence, which is inside you, not out there, which is God, which lies where? Within who? Every human being. God don't pick and choose. He give you life. What you do with it is your choice. Again, God life is God's gift to you. What you do with that life is your gift to God. You can spend it on you, doing you, and that's it. Or you can serve him and go on and join him in the afterlife. That's just a concept. If you're spiritual, that's what you live for. Christian live to go to heaven, same thing. All y'all live the higher consciousness. I'm just teaching it. I'm not preaching it. So moving on. And he is in every human being in what? Object in the universe. The essence is God. This is all him. In essence, the goal of right thinkers practice is to what? Unite or yoke ones with who? Your individual consciousness. God is all conscious, but every individual has their right to be with him in their own way. My God's not your God. We all serve a God, but if you're serving him, he'll serve you back. But you just thinking about him and praising him and praying for someone, that ain't gonna get you nothing without serving. If you know God, you are a servant of him. Why? You do the right thing. That's what changed my life. Not believing in him. No. He proved to me a long time ago who he is. My man, we good to go. Why? I'm not. I'm in. I'm locked in. I'm not loaded. I rode with the other guy. He didn't do nothing to show me anything other than, yeah, I'm getting rewarded in all kinds of different ways. That's where the contentment and the happiness comes from. When you are comfortable in who and what you're serving, what you consider your God. I don't care what religion you call it, but when you live and doing right, you will be rewarded. It's hard to share that because everybody ain't on the level, and I know that. But watch this. Now, with universal or cosmic consciousness, which is for everybody, it's across the board. You just have to pick yours out. So watch this. Therefore, ancient Egyptian religious practice, aka right thing philosophy, especially in terms of what? Rituals and other practice. Every morning I have a ritual. Everybody should have a ritual. And other practices of what ancient Egyptian temple systems, known as we call it now, right? Think of it as Shita Netta. And what's that? The way of the hidden supreme being. Remember, Amun is hidden. We want to know him. We want to become conscious of him. We want to rise a level to be with him, the highest level. And watch this. This may be termed as a yoga system, aka Egyptian yoga. That's when I first started. That's what we called it. Now, in this sense, religion in its purest form religion in its purest form is what? A yoga system, aka right thinking philosophy. I'm taking religion in its purest form, not the nonsense, and it's all getting you to God, to know yourself. I know that works. It's been proven. That's what I said. My system ain't, I just thought it up last week. No, I followed the system over 30 years. I know it works. So watch this. As it seeks to what? Reunite people with what? With their true and original source. Knowing thyself takes you back to knowing God, the source. I can stop right there, but I'm not. I got some more. Let's go. Now, the disciplines, I call them spiritual disciplines, they use them yoga disciplines, same thing, but watch this. The disciplines of yoga fall under 5 categories. 5 senses, 5 categories, none of numbers. It's always something significant there, symbolically. Watch this. They are yoga of wisdom. That means you're going to study, learn, and gain experience of what you're studying and learning. Then you have yoga of devotional love. Right there. That's Christians. Y'all love Christ. I ain't got a problem with that. None at all. When it's doing right, that's a beautiful thing. Kudos. Y'all call it what you call it. I understand what it is. When you showing love devotionally to God by doing right, living right, I ain't got a problem with you at all. Then you got yoga of meditation. That to me, I sit around all day and no. I practice communing with my higher self on my terms and put down for my time to spend with God, listening, not praying, listening. See, meditation is listening. Praying is praying. So when you practice yoga meditation, you spend your time informal and formal meditation time to connect with God. Then you got one here, the tantric yoga. That's the one with the sexual position, Kama Sutra. That's what this is all about. Because it's two people trying to become one. Intercourse, male and female, trying to become one. Okay, that's how you create life. So the tantric yoga is really the oldest. I just don't practice it because I ain't on that nonsense no more at this point in my life. So swinging from chandeliers and trying to hit them, no, I'm done. But then you got yoga. Here's my favorite. This is right there. This yoga of selfless service. When you doing something for somebody else that's gonna help them and not hurt you, that's what you do. That's a selfless service. If you hesitant about helping somebody because you think what it's going to do to you, that's not selfless. Okay, no. You want something in return. When you do something without fear of reward and whatever, that's selfless. Okay. Next one is within these five categories, and they are subsidiary forms, which are what part of the main principles. The emphasis in what the Osirian myth, which one we studied. See, they say Osiris, Asar. Okay, they say, oh, Asar, this is Asar. The myth is what? The yoga of wisdom. Why? It's going to give you life lessons. That's why I'm familiar and comfortable doing just that. Why? Because everything in the Asarian myth is about you. Okay, defeating who? Your lower self is your ego self. Another lesson, but right here, yoga of wisdom in the Masarian myth. Then you got yoga of devotional love and yoga of selfless service. Those three things is what basis for right thinking philosophy. I use those to teach, preach, and live by. Why? I understand them. I can live by them. They all make sense to me, and you can do that for yourself. Watch this. Now, the important point to remember is what? That all aspects of yoga can and should be used where? In an integral fashion, meaning to get effort and the most efficient and harmonized spiritual movement for yourself, it have to be done on a day-to-day basis, practice and perfect it for you to get the best results. Doing it every now and then, when you no consistency. Therefore, watch this. While there may be an area of special emphasis, I tell you, my three is the devotional, wisdom devotional, and I skip past the tantric and the selfless service, and I like the meditation part. So I got 4 out of 5, which ain't bad, but I'll tell you why I don't do the fifth one. Understand it, know it, just don't practice it. Again, you can know something and not use it. That's cool, but guess what? You're gonna lose it if you don't implement it. My knowledge of the tantric yoga philosophy, if I'm not practicing it, I'm going to forget. I'm going to lose it. It won't be fresh in my mind because you ain't living it. That's the thing. If you ain't using it, they think you don't need it. So it just goes away. That's how the memory works. It's called dementia. When you don't use your brain, you fall into dementia state. You can't remember nothing. Watch this. So watch this. I'm wrapping it up. Therefore, while there may be areas of emphasis, you got other elements are bound to become part of your yoga program, such as needed. For example, while a yogian may place emphasis, I tell you right through philosophy, is yoga wisdom, they may also, and I do, practice what? Devotional yoga. Christian, that's y'all stuff. I go to church every week. I get my lessons just like God do. And I practice it. Again, if I can't use what you're giving me, I'm not taking it. Simple as that. And I tell anybody, I am not a Christian, but I go and learn the biblical concepts so I can relate. So I'm using philosophy that being taught. It worked. The first time I don't work, I be the first to tell y'all, man, I didn't work. So whatever I'm getting from my pastor, I'm using and I'm telling him it's working for me, though. So keep giving him. I'm gonna keep coming. Simple as that. If what I'm giving you is working for you, keep coming. If what I'm giving you ain't working for you, bye bye. I ain't gonna problem with that. It may not be for you. That's all. I understand it. Well, let me get this thing out the way. Oh man, I'm killing it. So watch this. It's important. When you do all these studies and you practice devotional yoga and meditation yoga along with wisdom study, that's right thinking philosophy, right there. You can knock right thinking philosophy down with those 4 concepts, and you practice those, get proficient, you become a right thinking master, and you will have mastery over yourself. All right, let's go. So the practice of right thinking philosophy or any discipline that what leads to what oneness with who? The supreme consciousness can be called yoga. If you study, rationalize, and reflect upon the teachings that you study, you are practicing yoga of wisdom. I tell you, to learn something and not use it is a waste of time. If you meditate, and I do daily, upon those teachings, that's how you learn it. And your higher self, you are what? Practicing yoga and meditation. I told you. That's it. If you practice rituals, a lot of people like rituals. As a master mason, I understand rituals. Like them, not so much, because it's symbolic and it pretty much I like because it's leading you. Some of them just don't set well with me, so I understand them. Again, understand them. Don't always subscribe to them. That's when you hear me talk about religions all the time. Rituals. No, I'm not big on that. Okay, understand. That's the reason why. All right, when you practice rituals, watch this, which would identify you with your spiritual nature. Okay, you are what practicing yoga of what? Ritual identification, which identifying with yourself, which is what? Part of yoga of what? Wisdom. Again, to know that stuff, you got to identify, understand it, and the yoga of, again, devotional love of the what? Divine. If you love God, you live and show him by praise and worship and doing the right thing. If you call him Jesus, I ain't got a problem with that. You call him Allah, that's a problem. Buddha, not a one. So as long as it's getting you to do what you need to do for you to get you to God, that's what I care about. I got a technique that I'm teaching. I don't have nobody else's philosophical concept or technique. Okay, so understand. Now, if you develop your physical nature and psychic energy centers, what you're doing. You get it? You're getting there yet? You are practicing another one of my favorite, serpent power. And the tune that you got to play to vibrate to make the serpent power rise in you is righteous living. Simple. Okay? You got practicing serpent power or more understanding Kundalini or for the more ancient Uraeus. Okay. Back in the day, you see a Uraeus in front of the head, you saw him on the side, you saw the Uraeus everywhere in the back of the head. Why? That was protective. That's the protector. Okay, that's why. So they had a constant understanding. And it can spit its poison, venom, 6 feet. So the pharaohs had a 6 feet circle around them. When we went to Constantine, what they say 6 feet away. They bury how big? 6 feet deep. So letters and numbers always play symbology. Watch this. Now you got that serpent power yoga, which is what part of tantric yoga again. And if you practice, here you go, living according to the teachings of ethical, moral behavior and selflessness, you are what? Practicing right thinking philosophy. Oh no, excuse me. Yoga of action, aka Maya. When? In daily life. It puts in bold letters. In daily life. I tell you when. Daily. That's where I got it from. Now, if you practice turning your attention, watch this, towards who? God, by developing a love for the divine. I did. I love that guy. Why? Because what he does in return, you got no reason not to love him. So you got to understand that when you do that, that's where it comes from, and that's how it's done. I don't care what religion you profess, you still got love for God. Then watch this. It is called devotional yoga or yoga of the divine love, which you practice and you love God. The practitioner, which of you of yoga, if you practice yoga, you called a yogin if you're male practice practitioner or yogini if you're a female practitioner. And when you master it, you just consider a yogi and one who has attained the mastery of yoga, union with divine. That means you know God. When you reach that level, you have reached it in what they call you, what? A yogi. A yogi is someone who knows God, knows himself. So you can be a yogi, you can be right thinking, don't make it Buddha, make a difference, but you need to have knowledge and understanding to him for yourself. You can call yourself what you want. Now I'm wrapping it up. Now in this manner, yoga has been what developed into many disciplines which may be used in what in integral fashions again to do what to achieve the same goal which is enlightenment. Therefore, you, the aspirant right thinker, should learn about what all the paths of yoga and choose what those elements which best suit his or her personality or practice them in what in an integral balanced way. Always keep it balanced. Just enough of this, just enough of that. Okay. Enlightenment is the term. Watch the here we go. My best part. We already up. It described to what the highest level of spiritual awakening. We know that to be Nehast. And what it meant? It means attaining such a level of spiritual awareness that one discovers the underlying unity of the entire universe, as well as the fact that, watch this, the source of all creation is the same source from which the innermost self within every human heart arises. God is in the heart of man. He gave you consciousness to make the connection. I keep telling you, heart, mind, coherence, you will know God. That's how you get the thing together as a human being while you're here on earth. Hope you get this understanding. Let's go. Now, all forms of spiritual practice, religion, whatever you want to call it, are what? Directed toward the goal of assisting who? Every human being, every individual to do what? Discover their true essence of the universe, both externally in physical creation right here and internally within the human heart. It says it specifically as the very root of human consciousness. The spell Conscience. Science in the heart. How does that happen? It's been there all the time. This, watch this, ain't nothing new under the sun. Y'all just discovering it. I mean, like Columbus getting into America. I discovered it and you ain't discovered nothing. So, thus, watch this. Thus, you got many terms which are used again by the myriad names that describe the attainment of the goal of spiritual knowledge and what? The eradication of spiritual ignorance. My job is to kill the ignorance, not the ego. Ignorance is not knowing. I'm giving you information. Now you're not ignorant no more. You're enlightened. You can make better decisions for yourself with knowledge. But ignorance, you can't. So that's the difference in trying to eradicate that spiritual ignorance. Become knowledgeable of yourself and God. So watch this. Some of these names, I know that I love this part. The terms are, watch this, and I'm sure you heard all of them. Enlightenment, resurrection, salvation, the kingdom of heaven. One of my favorites, moksha. That's the Indian concept of what? Liberation. Buddha, consciousness. That means being enlightened. He knows himself. The Buddha means he had been awakened to who? Himself. He knows himself. One with the Tao. It's Chinese. Self-realization. I just gave that lesson a little while ago. And you know, the favorite in our mind is know thyself. The term religion, let's talk about right. I want to stop, but I want to get this last little bit in. I'm sorry, but I got to get this one in. Hopefully, you can get you some more knowledge. The term religion comes from what? The Latin word religare, which used the word roots re, which means back, legion, which means what? To hold, to link, to bond. They're trying to take you back to the essence, which is true. That's what religion, the tension of religion. I know, like you said, I understand the purpose and reason of religion. I just don't follow some people who don't practice the way it's intended. Why? For misunderstanding, misinterpretation of the lesson. But right there, that's my purpose. And watch this. Therefore, the essence of true religion, here you go, is that of what? Linking back what? Specifically linking its followers who follow that theory or belief system to what? Their original source and innermost essence. It should be God. In this sense, the term religion and yoga are what? Synonymous. Hello. Religion is supposed to do the same thing yoga do. Yoga is kicking their butt right now. The people in the Middle East got way better concept and living better for themselves as a people than we ever come close to. We got religion, we religion, yeah, we number one. Yoga concepts and system gets you the closest to God and the individual system. But they tell you when religion is done right, and it's yoga, which are synonymous. This source, which is what? The underlying reality behind every object in creation, is described as unborn, undying, eternal, and immortal, and is known by what? An endless number of names. Sound like God, don't it? Some of which are, again, let's go back to the names of God. Self, consciousness, self, higher self, one of my favorites. God, goddess, supreme being, another one. Divine self, like that one too. Eternal self, that's one I don't particularly is there, but you got the soul, we know about that. Pure consciousness, I love that. You got Brahman, you got the all. Muslims, you got Allah. Christians, Jehovah. I use Neteru. Okay. Creator, absolute, Heavenly Father, a man's mom said that father. The older people call God Father. That's how they thought about him. Okay. Now, divine mother, we always had the female. A father got to be with the mother. A king can't be a king without a queen. You can't be a kingship no queen. The queen can sit on the throne by herself. Another lesson, but yeah, the divine mother, the great spirit. Now these various names again, while arising from what various traditions and separate cultures, they all got different philosophical points, but they all point to the same thing, and in reality represent what the same divine and transcendental principle of what. So the study of understanding and of creation is an integral part of a person's yoga movement towards what? Spiritual enlightenment. You have to understand creation in order to be part of it. So therefore, this volume will what? Focus on the principles of understanding mystical philosophy, aka right thinkings. It will focus on the most important creation myth, since all the creation myths of ancient Egypt are related to the most ancient one, the creation based on the theology of the ancient Egyptian city of Anu. That's where we started from the first time. The Anuian theology, that's what we're working on, is based on, listen, understanding that there is one supreme divinity from which all other divinities known as the Paiute and indeed nature itself arises. Thus, let us begin our spiritual journey of what? Self-discovery of what? The mysteries of she taught that, aka right thinking philosophy or life. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I know it went a little long, but I hope you enjoyed it.